All right, folks, the time is just about 6 o'clock. We're gonna get started. I'm gonna start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag, flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, just so everyone is aware, this meeting is being recorded by Norton Media. Anyone else that is recording, please let us know. Start with the public comment period. If anybody wishes to address the meeting, please do so. Please state your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing none, we will move to vote and approve the minutes of the September 24th open session meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review these? Yep. Any questions, comments, edits? Okay, entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Next, we have the warrants. Ms. Callahan.
I've reviewed the following school expense and payroll warrants. School expense warrant, September 24th, 2025, $587,311.53. School payroll warrant, September 18th, 2025, $1,365,993.55. I reviewed and approved and wish to enter them in public record.
Thank you. Moving on to the student representative updates with Benson and Leah.
Hello, everyone. So in addition to our general update, we asked the building principals to share a moment recently that reminded them of why they do what they do and wanted to share their responses.
So from the Yale, Mr. Gagan shared this past week as the Yale School launched its new RIT blog called Answer Learning Time, LLT. He was reminded exactly why he loves being an educator. RIT, or Response to Intervention, is a multi-tiered approach that helps identify and support students' academic and behavioral needs. It begins with strong, high-quality classroom instruction and regular screening for all students. Based on the results, students receive targeted small group instruction or enrichment to help them grow, ensuring every learner gets what they need to succeed. At the Yale, LLT combines IMTSS, RIT, and PBIS to provide 40 minutes of each day, focused, data-driven support in ELA or MAP. Both grades are divided into teams of teachers and specialists, allowing for smaller groups and more specialized instruction. Mr. Gagan said that during these sessions, students experience both the challenge and the reward of learning, those moments of struggle followed by the aha breakthroughs that make teaching so meaningful. Watching students gain confidence and excitement when a concept finally clicks has been a powerful moment of reminder of why this work matters. He added for him and Mr. Bilal that these LLT blocks have quickly become the best part of the day, right alongside their good news calls. They've reaffirmed why they do what they do, helping students realize they can do hard things and celebrating them when they do.
Then from the JCS, Mr. Barrett shared that he's reminded on a daily basis why he does what he does. His interaction with students at JCS makes it a priority to visit as many classrooms as possible each day and spends time in the cafeteria during lunches, connecting with students in both small and meaningful ways. Sometimes that reminder comes from something as simple as a smile or a fist bump in the hallway, or even helping a student open their milk. Other times it's through sitting down with students to talk through a difficult situation, hearing everyone's perspective and finding a positive solution together. He said those moments, along with comments from staff or families about the ways the school is supporting their children, reinforce his purpose as a principal to ensure that every student feels safe and successful at school. While some days are more challenging than others, Mr. Barrett shared that he's reminded of that purpose in countless ways every single day.
And from the LG, Mr. Higgins shared that one of the most rewarding parts of his role at LGN has been visiting classrooms to read to students. He makes an effort to do this several times throughout the year, or anytime a teacher invites him, because, as he puts it, back in the day, as a classroom teacher, one of his favorite things was introducing great children's literature to his students. Now, as a principal, he values the opportunity to impact the literacy of the entire school. In addition to reading out loud in classroom, he shares book recommendations during daily video announcements with the help of the PTC, ensures that every student receives both a birthday book and a break book for each school vacation. Just this week, a student's grandmother mentioned how much her grandson loves that Mr. Higgins has visited his class to read The Smart Cookie by Jory Jordan and Pete Oswald. Mr. Higgins said that these moments help him promote literacy while connecting with students on a personal level, a true win-win. Experiences like this remind him exactly why he chose to become an educator and why he continues to learn. To love what he does each day. That's all from us.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I like the added question. Thank you. That was good. Very creative.
All right, next we have the opening of school remarks with Mr. Hayward and Mr. Holtz.
We knew we'd be here, so I enjoy teaching the kids, and I can barely stand the 6 years, 154 school days left. Until it comes to an end. But thank you for having us tonight. We're interested in telling you about the start of the school year. We've had a great start to the school year in general. Have some pictures to show you, just going through the school year, and I'll make some comments. Fortunately, we had two great days at the beginning of the week in October. We were able to get outside on the picnic tables that our parent board bought us a couple of years back through their fundraising efforts with the community that supports us. So we're glad to get out with that. Kids really enjoyed it. We welcomed 544 students on September 2nd. As I said, we had a good start to the school year. Kind of got started even before, which was great. We've had our second annual police academy here. It was really good to have kids back around the building even before we get open, getting used to their voices and all the scurrying around that was going on in the building. It was led by our SRO, Officer Robichaux, and a Norton High School SRO, Sergeant Dennett. I gave the students a unique opportunity to learn and grow and lead. They learned about, all the cadets learned about teamwork skills, tackle technical challenges, as you can see some of them over at the fire department, deepen their appreciation for respect, which is one of our core values, integrity and leadership. It was a fun and rewarding week. Many kids described it as life-changing, and they're already looking ahead to year 3, and we'll share details in spring of 2026. And it was full, it was packed. A lot more cadets the second time around.
And is it the same ones that did it last year, or is it like a crop every?
New crop of kids, they did welcome back, I think, 3 carryovers to kind of be like cadet instructors, like student instructors, and I think they selected a few more that will continue next year to kind of bridge the gap, but it was all new kids. And you can see the state police came out and they brought the helicopter out again, which is always a highlight. Okay, new staff. We were able to hire some new staff, which was great, as opposed to losing them. First, we brought back Chris Cummings. Chris was here when I first started, an exceptional teacher. I think he's here right now. He's right there. He came back. He's again an excellent teacher. He's teaching science up on 6 Purple. Welcomed him back. Jack Boyles, working in our BEST program, joined us from North Attleboro, where he held a similar role. Kathy Kelly was a paraprofessional with us last year. I believe she lives in the town, also does a lot of coaching and so on, and now she's moved into the LBC teacher role on 6 Purple. Zach is a paraprofessional in our GRIP program. He's also a certified teacher in social studies, so it's great to bring his skill set in and degree and knowledge there, so he's doing good. Haley Spiewakowski, I think that right. She's music and chorus, so we're very pleased to have our music chorus and band program back. We've always had the chorus elective. Really looking forward to the winter and spring concert, which are kind of like staples in our school year prior. So Haley's got the chorus up, and we have really good participation in that. And Julia Larson, who joined us last year when we kind of got that somewhat approval to bring that back, she continued on in the role covering for maternity leave as a full year long-term sub. And she's picked up right where she left off, doing some really creative and engaging projects with the the kids. PBIS at our school is a great way to focus on the start of the school year, start with some positive things, recognize students for the 80% of kids that really make the class hum because they follow things, don't need a ton of repeating directions and so on, and kind of meet our expectations daily. Here's just some kids getting shirts. Teachers have been sending down students' names and they've been getting the Lancers League t-shirts again. Parent board gets those for us. Here's some more kids, and here's some stuff from our classrooms. Again, very pleased to have instruments back and band and chorus. And those functioning. Hands-on projects are always exceptional. This is Mrs. Bouchard up here. I think I saw her come in tonight. And then our clubs and activities. That's probably the thing I think our sixth graders most look forward to as they transition to the middle school, all the clubs and activities. They're up and running right now. Some of the clubs start later in the school year, like drama and woodworking, a few of the other clubs. And Rubik's Cube Club, gonna be taken over by Mr. Bid this year. I think I saw Benny in here. Yeah, Benny's there. He taught me how to do the Rubik's Cube years ago in the club. He's the one who showed me. It took me since 1980 something to do it. He got me over, so I saw him. And of course, our sports programs here really make us unique. We're fortunate to be in the league. I have some updates from the different teams. The girls soccer team is off to a hot start, 5-1-1. They've outscored opponents 37-4. They have 12 eighth graders, 6 seventh graders, and 1 sixth grader, and 14 returners. The group combines skill, effort, and a love of the game. 6 matches remain as they push for a strong finish in the league. They're coached by KJ Williams, who works at our elementary school. Boys soccer, coached by Tim LeConte. I saw Tim here too. The boys team sits at 4-1-3, showing grit and resilience with 3 come from behind wins and several late game ties. The most dramatic victory came against Raynham, scoring 3 goals in the final 10 minutes for a 3-2 win. And recently they shut out Somerset 2-0. And they're looking forward to a rematch with Freetown Lakeville coming up. Volleyball, coached by Norton Middle School teacher Meg Hartnett, led by their 8th grade captains Avery Panic, Daniela Dolak, and Lacey Fuller. The team is 5-2. They thrive on teamwork and determination. They've had big crowds that have energized the players all season. Next home match is a Dig Pink game on Thursday, October 16th, raising funds for the Ellie Fund and breast cancer awareness. And finally, cross country, coached by Amy Dr. J, up at the high school now, and Marissa Massaro. This year's team has 37 runners who are excelling both on and off the course with nutrition, sportsmanship, and teamwork. Both teams are 2-0 in league meets, and several of the athletes are going to qualify for the 16th annual Massachusetts Middle School Invitational on November 1st out in Devens. And then our unified bocce team, we were supposed to have our first game today. It got canceled, the weather. So these are pictures from last year's team, but we're looking forward to getting that going. I think we have 5 matches scheduled, so we've kind of increased the number of matches that we're going to have. We look forward to that team getting underway. Here's some more pictures. And then in our gym, we got Jay Massey, actually Norton resident, put this new logo up in the gym. There's a lot of blank space up on that wall. And again, donated by the parent board. And the logo itself is donated by the parent board. And Mr. Massey donated his time and expertise to hang that up there. So it looks really good if you get into the gym. Okay, now we're on to Thanksgiving. That's the start of the school report. If there's any questions or what have you?
How often do you do the Lancer Lead shirt giveaways?
Recently I've been doing it a couple days a week. I've been calling this week. I've been doing it every day. I've been calling kids down on team. The PBIS has also run on team too, so they do a lot of giveaways and ticketing on the team. Oftentimes, one of the prizes will be they get like a ticket to come get a shirt. But initially, just to get it going and get some shirts out, they've been sending me names directly. Oh, they do it, I think, once a week on teams. They'll do pull tickets and so on.
So you know that for last year you had to readjust your setup for 6th grade because of the smaller class size and the downsizing of staff and stuff. Did that model still stay the same for 6th grade with the incoming 6th graders? Did you adjust or?
Yes.
Changes, yeah.
Yes, the thing is, yes, but not for the sixth graders. So that followed kind of that, I'll call it a bubble class, but it's kind of inverse. It's that small group that are currently seventh graders. So we've actually extended the creative design course into the seventh grade.
Okay.
So seventh grade specials run on a 30-day cycle,
Mhm.
and our sixth and eighth run on a 36-day cycle. So it's still in balance, kind of, I guess,
Are you still doing?
taking advantage of having that smaller group, but we had some budget constraints.
Yeah.
You know, that's gonna cycle out, and then we're gonna have to figure out plan B.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
Kind of taking advantage of that. So that continues with the sixth graders as they roll to seventh grade.
Okay, and you still doing the team sharing? Like,
No,
no, that's.
that we didn't because we were able to bring back a bit.
Great.
You know,
Awesome.
that was some of the stuff we've been able to bring back. So, again, we kind of lucked out with that small size to help soften some of the budget issues that have taken place. And then this year, we're fortunate, along with the chorus and band programs, to bring some of it back.
Thank you.
Yeah. The outstanding challenge we have is that we don't have any book lending going on in the library.
Okay.
But, you know, that's a 16th century problem, I guess, we're still battling with, no book lending in the public school lending. So that's our next challenge.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next, we have our student spotlight, AP students with distinction, Dr. Hamlin.
Okay, I'm gonna go up to the, podium.
Evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming tonight. I know we're all here to honor our students. The College Board's Advanced Placement Program gives high school students the chance to take college-level courses in subjects such as math, science, history, language, and the arts. These courses match the rigor of introductory college classes and allow students to earn college credit for advanced placement based on their performance on the AP exams. Beyond the possibility of earning college credit, AP offers several key advantages. They help students build the skills needed for college level work. They enhance college applications by demonstrating success in challenging coursework. And they may even lower college costs by reducing the number of required courses once students are enrolled. AP exams, which are usually offered in May, are graded on a scale of 1 to 5, with scores of 3 or higher, often considered passing for college credit. Norton High School enjoys a robust participation in the AP program with 182 students enrolled last year in courses across multiple subjects. Tonight, we are proud to recognize 10 current Norton High School students who received the highest distinction by earning a score of 5 on 1 or more of their AP exams. Participation in the AP program continues to grow at Norton High School. During the 2024-25 school year, we had 168 students take a total of 362 exams. That number has increased for this current school year with 182 students projected to take 400 exams across a broad range of subjects, reflecting both the expanding opportunities available to students and their continued commitment to academic excellence. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to call each student up one by one. I'll present them with their certificate, and then hopefully Benson will get us a picture, and we'll invite the family to come up and take a picture with them as well. But it might take us a few minutes to get through all 10 of you. So the first student I want to recognize is Colin Artisani. And I believe Colin is not able to be with us tonight because he is actually taking a college course right now. So good for him. Annabelle Griffith. Why not, Mom? I'm one of. Here we go. Yeah. Annabelle received a 5 in English language and composition and US history. Okay, my next award goes to Allison Huang, who received a 5 in English language and composition. Unfortunately, Allison has a game tonight and is not able to join us.
He's in Mel's Cup with a volleyball team.
Hey, there you go. All right, Carl May. Carl here? That wants to come up? Come on up. All right, Mom. Ready? Thank Carl, congratulations on your 5 in US government and politics. That's amazing. Kat Moore. Kat here tonight. Kat earned a 5 in English language and composition, European history, and US history. So congratulations to her. Valeria Santiago. Okay. Valerie received a 5 in Spanish language and culture. Congratulations. All right, Melanie Sheedy. Come on up, Mel. Mom and Dad want to come up and take pics?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, this way.
Lawrence. Thank you.
Melanie received 5s in English language composition and US history. Congratulations. All right, Brody Migelski. Brody here. Okay. Brody received a 5 in US history. Tyler Winkus. Somewhere else. Tyler received a 5 in chemistry, English language composition, and US history. And finally, I have Ben Yazakevich. Come on up, Ben. Good to see you.
My meeting this week.
I think we have Dad here too, right? Come on up, Dad.
Ben, I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
Let's see. Thank you.
Congratulations. Ben received 4 scores of 5 in chemistry, English language and composition, statistics, and US history. Congratulations to all of these students. I think, number one, it's so important that we celebrate all of their hard work, and this, being a AP student with distinction is really such a great testament to your work and your time and your dedication to academics. I know so many of you are involved in other things in school as well, so I applaud you for being both active in your school community and really committed to the academics of school as well. So congratulations to all of you. Thank you.
Okay, congratulations, everyone. It's remarkable the work that goes into some of these students and student athletes, and holding down jobs and doing remarkable things. So we always like to share the spotlight with our distinct students. So congratulations to all of you. So we're going to move on to our next item update, which is the transportation update with Mrs. Hatfield. For those of you just visiting, you can feel free to make yourselves leaving. I was trying to say it nicely, but you're more than welcome to be excused.
You're welcome to stay. Won't require it. Thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
C'est Jocelyn and Chris.
So, transportation update, so we have had a great start to the school year, as we noted in a couple meetings ago. We had a few bumps in the beginning with, the water movement and heaving that was happening on, Worcester Street, Park Court, but that was just a day. And then we also had heaving, on North Washington Street, but that was just a little bump delays. After that, it was smooth sailing. We had a great start. We have a little bit less students that are registered this year. Last year, we were around 1,400, this year we're around 1,300. But we have brought in the same or a little bit more money. We have brought in to date $140,000. Last year it was around 138,000 at this time. That looks to be because of our late fees. We've collected more in late fees here than we have in the last 2 years, which is about 47%. We've also had a very streamlined registration process, which is thanks to Al Sanborn and Barry Williams. They've done a great job registering students and making it go much more smooth than any other year. All of our buses are running. Oh, sorry, that's not what it is. Only 2 buses so far are at capacity, which are on the Hay Middle Run. That is bus 4 and bus 7. We probably won't accept any more registrations for those 2 buses, which comes to just about 2 at a seat. Couple have a great seat on those buses, but the rest are smoothly.
What is our timeline of registration? Like when do we start notifying parents to sign up?
It's usually give or take a week every single year, but it's usually around May 31st to June 1st.
So we're trying to catch them before the school lets out.
Yes.
Okay. Question on that?
What area of town is bus boards in? It depends which school. So they don't always get the same section. I really don't. Yeah, because, for example, bus 7 is LG, so they're up near Bay Road. For Hay and Middle. And then, I think she is not still over there for Hay Middle either, so I'm not really sure. Anyway.
Any other questions?
So are these buses, they're still doing 3 loops, correct? Do 3.
3 tiers.
3 tiers.
10 of the buses.
10 of the buses do 3 tiers. And then do any do 2?
The other 5.
10 do 3 and then 5 do 2.
Correct.
And then the 5 that do the 2 tiers, which tier are they skipping?
JCS.
Cool, thank you.
Anything else? Moving on to the next is the enrollment update with Dr. New.
Thank you. So as of October 1st, to reiterate, October 1st is the date that we send all of our data into the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and that number, our enrollment number on October 1st, is the date that they use for all of our funding for the following fiscal year. So it's really important that we get that data correct at that time, because everything moving forward will be based on those numbers. So I always like to give you an update at this time of the year, focus on those October numbers. So as of October 1st, we had a total enrollment of 2,362 students here in Norton. Of that number, 2,086 are district students that are enrolled in our 5 schools. 204 students are school choice. 39 students that are enrolled in the Reads Deaf and Hard of Hearing program. 32 students that are in specialized out of district placements, and 1 student that is with us as part of a tuition agreement. They're attending one of our specialized programs here in district because their district didn't have something and we were able to offer a spot. This is down, about 72 students from when we left in June. Our number in June was 2,435. So the, district enrollment itself, we are down by 37 students across pre-K to, grade 12 plus. And we are down 72 students when it comes to, school choice. I'm sorry, not 72, 35. Wait, the wrong numbers here. 35 students in school choice. The main area where we saw that the decline was from grade 8 to grade 9. So we know that oftentimes this is the biggest place where we lose students because they have other opportunities for high school. They could go to Southeastern, they could go to Fian, they could go to Xaverian. There are other options. And same with the choice students as well. They have other options available to them. So from grade 8 into grade 9, we lost 25 students from our district cohort and 11 school choices. Also, I just wanted to mention that school choice numbers here. We have, I believe, 3 new kindergarten choice students, and those are either siblings or staff that are joining us. And then we have an increase in school choice in grades 6 and 8, and those were either siblings or staff placements as well. Also, to give you an update on the additional seats we opened last spring, because I know that was something that we spent a lot of time having a conversation about. We opened 2 seats in grade 7. We received 1 application and the seat was declined. So we do not have any additional students in grade 7 for school choice. And then grades 9 and 10, we had 5 spots between those 2 grades. We received 7 applications, 3 students enrolled, 3 declined seats, and 1 was waitlisted in the lottery and didn't return the phone call when the seat became available. So it was 3 additional students in grades 9 and 10 for choice. And that's it. And the committee gets an update at the beginning of the month from me as part of our, usual communication. So happy to answer any questions about enrollment.
Our chapter 70 funding, you got $104 per student this year.
Correct.
Does that, do you have any?
Oh, gosh, no. We won't know anything in regards to chapter 70. I would say the first time they'll really start talking about it is probably late February, early March. But then until budget's typically not passed until July. There's a lot of advocacy, both from the Mass Association of School Committees as well as the Mass Association of School Superintendents to continue with this number at $104 per student at the very. Whether that will continue really depends on what the governor's budget looks like. One of the things that we're starting to hear is that a lot of our special education schools are looking for significant increases for the upcoming school year. So that's something that Casey and I were already on emails with MASS earlier this week and asking for an advocacy on that issue as well. Yes. In some cases, 20 to 30% increases. Didn't they get an increase recently? Yes. So they recently got a 14% increase, and then the following year they got a 6%. Yeah. Where it had always traditionally been 2 to 3. Right. So that was my email saying, wait a minute, we just did this. So
So who controls that? And they just like I guess, so if I run a
Not us.
collaborative, whether it's, for Joe Smith's collaborative, do I just go to the state and say, I want to increase my fee 30% and they say yes or no?
So there's a
How
couple
does that work?
different ways that they can do this. One is there's a governing board at the state level. That was the board that approved that 14 and then the 6 a few years ago. The other way for schools to go about this is to submit an application to the Department of Education for what they call reconstruction, and that is kind of revising and reframing the way that the school is run and operated. So they do almost like a whole program review within that. And through that process, if approved by the department, they that's the question.
And where does that money come from? State.
So, any tuition increases come directly from the district. So if we have one student somewhere and like say how much, I'm just gonna give you some numbers, just gonna make them up. We're paying $83,000 this year. And they're increasing next year's tuition to 107. The total increase is on us. And then we have circuit breaker. So the first $55,000, we're responsible for the whole thing. And then anything over and above that, we get a percentage reimbursed. That percentage reimbursement is fluctuates year after year over year.
There was talk about increasing that percentage for circuit breaker. I think last spring, right?
Yeah, so that what they want to do is they want to get it to 85.
Yeah.
It's currently at 75, but we don't always, we're not always guaranteed to get the
Correct.
75 itself, so.
Right, and then
We've never got to it.
We got 75 this year.
yeah, and so yeah, we were looking to increase to 85
Mhm.
with, but wasn't there going to be like a threshold of, like no less than this amount? Like again, like we said, 75, but we don't always get 75. So like saying like you can't really go below. Like we'd like to get 85, but we can't go below. Like wasn't there?
I think that,
I haven't seen it below 60.
So, but looking
I
to, right, we're looking to like, so there was talk about trying to increase all of that, correct? Even that 60 threshold.
so I think what they were trying to do is say, we would like it to be 85. We want to say it can't go below 75.
Right.
Where unfortunately, there are years right now where we do go below 75. With both the tuition reimbursement and with the transportation reimbursement.
Okay, yeah, so, yeah, I was just wondering where everything was with that, because that was at the state level, correct?
Yes.
Any other questions? Is that it?
Yes, thank you.
I had a quick question. I don't know if it's part of this or not, but is there any update on Reeds? Because we're still.
Yes. So I reached out last week to kind of check in and see how things are going. Because we had talked about this holiday weekend that's coming on to be kind of the goal after September 1st wasn't the goal. And unfortunately, one of the biggest challenges that they're having has to do with the building being on 123, which we all know is a state road. So some of the work that needs to be done in order to get things online requires them digging into 123. And so unfortunately, it's taking a little bit longer than I think they had hoped to get the approval from the state. So that way the local contractors can get this going. So I think last we had heard it was maybe closer to Thanksgiving.
I just reminded that there's like.
I mean, there's definitely, you can definitely see that they're making progress, which is great. And, I thank you to our principals for always, and our staff for always being so incredibly welcoming. And we're making it work. And so is the Reed staff, and I'm sure they just want to be in their own space and established like this. It's hard when you're in limbo, so.
Do you think they'll wait until like the new year? To come back to the home?
That hasn't been addressed at this point, and I don't want to make assumptions for them. So I think they're all ready to get into their space, but it's unfortunate that. Great question.
Any other questions?
I was just curious on the out of district enrollment. Were these the additional 5?
Yeah.
From June to October? Were they students that were already in district and, programming they should to?
Oh, but I was gonna ask you to respond to that anyway, Casey.
So we had it's districts open, one in a private, collaborative. And then we had 3 students that we were had pending for the same time evaluation that we're trying to figure out into, we were trying to find.
I asked this question last year, and from high school, from 8th grade to 9th grade, generally speaking, we usually lose right around 30. Is that like a fair?
Yeah, usually it's 25 to 30. I mean, of course, every class is a little bit different. Like you have some years where you see a lot of students go. You have other years where you see almost no one go. Last year was actually a very low year for us when it came to loss of students from the middle school to the high school. This year is definitely higher.
Yep.
All right, next we have second reading and vote on IKFE.
Thank you. So at our last meeting, Dr. Ackerman and Mr. Flanagan presented you, and Mr. Cersey was there too. So give him credit. Presented you all with the, new policy around competency determination. As we know, last November, the state voted to remove the graduation requirement, for passing of the MCAS assessment. And so because of that, each district is now tasked with determining their own competency determination requirements. So what we have for you, we went through the, all of this last week. And we talked about the aligned courses, which are English 9 and 10, Algebra 1 geometry, introductory physics, bio or chem, and then US history 1. Successful completion of those courses, they have to earn the full credits and with a minimum passing grade. We also talked about the consideration for our English language learners and our student with disabilities, as well as the appeal process and what that would look like if there was concern about a student not necessarily meeting that requirement, which includes transcript review, portfolio assessment, et cetera, looking at relevant coursework. So that is the first policy there. And then the second policy is the graduation requirements. And what we did is we took out any language around the competency requirement itself. So now that we have our own policy that speaks specifically to competency requirement, this is simply for graduation. A student must earn at least 95 credits and participate in all state required assessments. And then we talked about the specific course requirements are printed in the Norton High School handbook. So that way, if we make changes in what those courses themselves are, we don't have to come back and do a 2 policy read. We can simply update that aspect of the handbook with a vote from the school. So I know Mr. Flanagan is here tonight, so with Mr. Cersey and Dr. Ackerman, so I'm happy to answer any questions that might still be up there. Otherwise, we would need a vote to approve.
All right, so let's start with IKFE. We're gonna handle these separately. Does anybody have any discussion or topic? Need that? See determination. Hearing none, go to IKFE as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Thank you.
Right, next is IKF graduation requirements. Is there any discussion on this policy? Motion to approve is presented.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, that's sorry. Aye. My bad.
I got this down.
Sorry, one time. One of my games for April, and then everything. Right, yes.
All right, our next item is discussion and vote on Norton Middle School CTE pathway exploration. Dr. Ag. Street.
Thank you, everybody. There is the actual policy that's in your packet. I did, Mr. Hayward put together just a few slides, so it might be easier to follow. But I thought I would just take a minute and give everybody some background. So in August of this past year, with not much, if any, notice, there was a webinar that we attended. And we were told that we had to create a middle school CTE pathway exploration policy. And so there's been, a fair number of webinars, a fair number of back and forth at building level, district level to try and kind of reconcile some of the vagaries of this. But the intent of the policy is really to just provide timely, clear information about CTE programs for grade 8 students. And what you're gonna hear tonight a little bit about, 98% of the things we probably already do and have been doing for an extended period of time. So this is just a way for us to formally capture it in a policy. To give a little bit of background, because are not an exclusive CTE high school, we do not have to place this in the school committee compendium of policies. This policy can live in the Norton Middle School or any Norton Public School program of studies, because we're neither a CTE exclusive district and we do not have an exclusive CTE school. So because there was no previous requirement, we can capture this here this evening. We also are required, if any of our students can attend a CTE school, we just have to make sure that we have language updating what we do, how we do it, and then sign an attestation on a yearly basis with DESE. And so things that we've already done that capture what is required in the policy, we have CTE and pathway policies, so there's regular discussion, regular exposure to both CTE at the high school and also our innovation pathways. We've historically coordinated visits between the middle school and the high school for these students. And then we do have the option for students that would find an offering at either Southeastern Regional or Bristol Aggie, just capturing that we have a process for that. Really, we have already within our program of studies, this pathway is already embedded and codified, and that's through guidance programming and regular communication. And as we do already, we have to make sure that this information is shared and readily available through multiple channels, which is both here and dovetails with what we've been doing historically here. And then the stickiest wicket in this policy was around awareness for CTE providers, more specifically around the transportation issue, because as initially presented, it created perhaps the impression that the sending school would be required to pay for transportation for the visiting students and to coordinate that. The inverse is actually true. So if Southeastern or Bristol Aggie wanted to do some collaboration with us, it would really be under their impetus to reach out to us to coordinate that time during the school day, and they would be responsible for those costs. DESE wanted us to also be clear that as far as the attendance policy, that any student absence related to a visit was excused.
So is this for like an open house or something like that? Like what, or is this like they're taking a class as a middle schooler at like Bristol Aggie? What is that actually? Or is like, so it's an excused absence, does that mean they're just traveling to like see it for the day?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So really, it was presented as a bit of a lion at first, but between Vinny, TJ, myself, Ronnie, and Vinny Cersei, we spent a fair amount of time in a number of webinars and asked some very specific questions around this so that we'd be able to bring clarity to everybody this evening. So I think the last piece is just about maintenance of records. So these are the things we already do and that we're required to do. So on an annual basis, we have CTE presentations to our 8th grade students. We have to make sure that we capture students that participate in those. It will be in the near future, like a formal posting on the website about these options to families around CTE. And then on an annual basis, we'll have to sign an attestation and submit to DESE that we're following the policy that we're reviewing with everyone this evening.
Just think of another name for it. I know CTE. We have so many negative connotations in here about CTE.
Yeah. And then really, I think this is part and parcel to kind of a more expansive view of public education from the department, whereas college is a wonderful and desirous track for a large number of students. It's has never been for all students. So there's intentionality around the department making sure that other offerings are available to all students.
Any questions?
Yeah, so what is the DESI, this is a mandate from DESI, correct? What is the language that they're telling us to do? Is there like a paragraph that they're saying this is exactly what you have to do?
It was more than a paragraph, there was several pages. Like deciphering of almost contradictory type stuff, whether it's the transportation and things like that. They just want to make sure that our students are aware of the options that they have an opportunity to learn about them, that their parents are aware of it. And then the timeline on which it happens, that it happens in early October, so it's not sprung on them or buried, very deep in our website or other things. That we're excusing attendance for these types of visits. We have, I think Thursday, the 16th, the high school's coming down to present on the SCTE program. I think Bristol Aggie's coming in on the 20th. And these are things that we've typically done. And so it's just about that process. So it's making sure that the building, the systems we have in place are following these things. Probably for people like me, because I want everyone to go to Norton High School. That's just how I am. I work here, I want everyone to continue to Norton High School. But they want to make sure that all middle schools are offering all the students, no matter what town they live in, access to that. So it's not like you have me, a home, and everyone at Norton High School versus someone else. So that
So we do 98%. What is the 2% we don't do?
probably the program of studies, which we're going to update. We actually, it just kind of coincidental as this was sprung on us. We need to update our program of studies here at the middle school one to reflect the budgetary cuts and programmatic changes that occurred. Also, positive things like the new curriculum programs that we started with mid-school math and Amplify. So we'll need to update that document anyways. So we plan to do that. So that would be part of the 2%, putting it in there. And then also just putting it on our website. Other than that, maybe some of the timeline things that we were soft on as far as like things happening more towards Thanksgiving around there. So that would probably be the 2%. But as far as like, it wasn't that much to do. It's more just kind of shifting some stuff and notifying.
So now that we were above the curve, if you will, now that it's a state mandate, does it give us any funding to this?
Yeah, they make the other school transport.
I wish the answer was yes, but I think
So this goes back to, like I said, I've said it for 3 years now. Why do we continue to do things? State mandates that doesn't come with them. We've got to find a way to find how to take unfunded mandates down. It's just another thing that we have to do. Now, again, I get it. For us, because we were doing 98% of it, we were above the curve, that's great. But there's going to be something that comes down the road that we've never done. And then we're gonna have to 100% do it. Now it's gonna take more staff, more time. Someone else is gonna get nailed with a teacher, a professional, a guidance counselor. Someone's gonna add more to their plate and there's going to be zero more money coming into us. So again, on a situation like this, it's small, it's minute, it's whatever. But at the end of the day, the state's telling us yet again, you've gotta do this. And they give us no backing and no funding for it.
And so, I mean, for us, we do have CTE programs at the high school, and we have the innovative pathways. So we receive grant funding for those programs there. We want to make sure that if it's something that I need to sign off yearly, that we're doing something small to make sure that we're still getting those grants, that's easy. We can make that happen. But as Brian mentioned when he first started speaking, we got this information at the very end of August when, I'm sorry, but you're not reading your emails that carefully at the very end of August because you've got kids coming back. You're still trying to hire staff. It's a constant, revolving wheel of things that you're focused on to educate students. And this is due by November 1st.
2 months.
Right?
2
And
months.
so it's just unbelievable. So MASS, and I know some of the building administrator organizations as well are really pushing back on the department and saying, you have to give people time. These timelines are incredibly tight. We just approved the other one with the competency determination. That is again, something else that took a lot of time from our team, to put something together and had a very quick turnaround. And then the Department of Education is going to put together their own recommendation for graduation requirements and hand that to us in February. So, I mean, we basically just did the legwork for them. So it's definitely at a frustrational point, I think, for a lot of educators and clearly for, school committee members and communities. But
Yeah, it's not something, I mean, obviously it's great, it's awesome that we've already been doing it, it's just, again, the bigger picture and the point. Continue to just, the state tells us what to do when we do it and they send us no money to do it, thanks.
Well, I mean, I think, this is one of those things where you would hope, a public school system is not preventing another high school to come in, because I'm sure that's happened, and now they can say, yeah, you're not gonna let that happen anymore. I mean, having put 3 kids through, the Norton school system, all 3 were accepted to a competing school and they chose to stay here. So I guess, my other question is, we invite these schools in, not necessarily with open arms, but we invite them in. Are students like, do all 8th graders go down, or did they
Yeah.
say, yeah, I want to go check?
Yeah,
this
on
out?
those, on presentations, it's the entire 8th grade goes down and views the presentation. It's not just sign up for it. So we expose all of the 8th grade to it as a class. If they then want to follow up, do an application, start that process, go for a visit, they do that on their own. And again, this stuff is kind of saying we won't step in their way with attendance stuff. Now, most kids don't really have attendance issues where it would matter. They're allowed so many days, but it would be like a kid has a game that day. I excuse it. They can go do their visit and play in their sports activity. Or if we had a school dance that night. So it's a full excusal. If they go to those things, it's almost like a day in school for them, wherever they go.
So my other question, and I know there was chatter about something changing with acceptance into, agricultural schools and things like that. And I know I have a friend of mine who they didn't go to their county's school. So I guess, do we have to extend this courtesy to say like Norfolk Agricultural School, because they may have a different program set than Bristol? Like, do we have to invite them in, or is this not part of that as well?
I don't know what, the ones that we're part of, that we're regionally part of, like
Yes.
we communicate with and that's been long standing. I mean, we just have communication with them. Our counselors typically get invited in the fall to go over there, so I'll send our 8th grade counselor. Somewhere in the policy, it says our 8th grade counselor, because we roll them, will be the point person on that. And they'll go out there and kind of get a preview of any updates or changes at the school itself or the programs or the process. There's been big changes to the process that's moving to like a lottery style system. And there's kind of weights and balances on these. You can get extra, I guess, tickets in the lottery for certain things. So there's a big change to that, which we're still trying to figure out. And when anything operationalizes, that's when you really understand it. So it hasn't happened yet, so it's hard to know, but it is moving more to a lottery. Before it was really based on, a lot of transcripts, interviews that they would send representatives out and they would conduct interviews. There'd be 1 or 2 days where kids would just had passes and they being interviewed by someone from their district. And then we do a lot of recommendation letters. We believe some of that's gonna probably tone down.
And do we share the dates that they're coming out with our parents? Because I mean, I haven't seen them, so it's been a while since I've been through this, but I think with one of my 3 kids, I had no idea they were going through the process. Because I didn't know they were coming on site or that they had applied or anything like that. So, I guess with part of this, and we also now saying we need to include the families. If nothing else,
Yeah.
just like hey, Southeast is gonna be here, your kid's going to
Yeah,
that thing.
I know, I typically probably put in the newsletter, but maybe not a standalone. I know as far as Norton High School, which is a CTE program.
Yeah.
So for us as a middle school, I'm looking at Southeast and Bristol and Norton High School. We plan to send out as a standalone the slides presentation and so on, so families can actually see that. I don't know see what the presentations will be from them, but I'll probably send out the actual slides, and because of this, I'll probably do it as a standalone just to verify that it was sent and again, not buried. But again, probably for guys like me, I want everyone to know in high school. We're nice, it's to stay in on.
Okay. Anything else?
I just noticed in the policy, was this on purposeful? You had two dates, so one is November 15th and one is October 15th. Was that,
It is because the communication via like the website or, a prominent space. The deadline is October 15th.
And then I think another one with we weren't sure about the wording of it. It says that we have to offer something to the sending schools by October 15th.
Yeah.
We're not sure if that means we have to schedule the date or actually have the presentation. So is it an offer by the 15th to you guys come in on this date, or is it you have to have presented by October 15th? That's kind of an early window to get through. So that was some of the stuff that we weren't sure about. That it's like, well, I can offer you something by the 15th. Do you have to present by the 15th? Because that's kind of tight out of the school year.
Considering we were made aware of this probably the August 21st.
So, sorry, now I have a question based on this last question. So is the expectation that we are doing this fall? Because it's October 8th.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering.
Well, I mean, we kind of guidance department here at the middle school kind of following the regular timeline, communicated with Bristol Aggie. They wanted to come on the 20th. They're coming on the 20th. With Vinny in the high school and TJ, they're going to come out on the 16th, which is the day after the 15th. But again, as we looked at that, we're like, is it just scheduled?
I was like, I feel like it should all be November 15th, but.
I interpreted it as having a date on the calendar by the 15th.
Yeah.
That was mine, and I even asking, because I feel like we asked that question on the webinar, and I don't believe that any of the providers do the distinction.
Sounds like.
Well, well, you were saying, Nick, if they don't fund it, I guess what's the penalty? What's the ticket? How much is the ticket? No, but like with some of the stuff, it's like it has to operationalize. So I guess if we put it on there and they say, well, they say, hey, that wasn't done on time, or they kind of come back, we kind of audit our process and look at when did these things occur, then we'll make the correction. But where it's kind of unclear, we're just trying to do what we think is normal. That October 15th, very early to get 3 different schools in to present.
Yeah.
And are also working to get their
Yes.
schools off the ground.
Yeah.
And then if they
So-
have to go to other, obviously, districts that
Oh,
are,
yeah, they have.
you know what I mean,
Yeah.
that's gonna be.
Just the scheduling thing. So as we looked at it and like kind of considered those things, we said that probably means you have to offer like schedule B in communication.
So I guess kind of touching on Justine's question about the dates, that do we also have to be aware that, like, say, early acceptance for Southeastern or Bristol Aggie, like, does that have any bearing on this? Like if they want, say, the top 10 students and they want them to, kind of commit by, say, December 1st, does that have any effect? on the timeline?
They usually don't do the acceptances to file later. They get, a lot of middle schools do trimesters like we do. They want to look at, kind of grades from the 8th grade, not just 7th grade. And so the acceptance for that is much later, but now that they're moving to a lottery, I don't know if they're going to really have a scale of like the top students or who they want. I think it's wise that Norton High School is, from my position, it's great that they're coming to the school early, because a lot of the open houses, not just the Vo-Tech schools, but your, parochial schools and things like that, they have private schools.
Yeah.
They're happening in November. So it's good that we're getting in that competitive window there, so we can, show everyone what Norton High School has to offer.
So what are we officially voting on? We're voting to add this to the middle school handbook, essentially?
Program of studies.
Program studies, sorry.
Anything else? Right, so we'll entertain a motion to approve the middle school CTE pathway exploration as presented.
So moved. Section.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Reluctantly.
All right, next we have discussion and vote on school committee delegate for November. Annual business.
Well, it's everyone's favorite time of year where we discuss the upcoming joint conference between the Mass Association of School Committees and Mass Association of Superintendents, which will be held November 12th and 14th. Each year, the school committees have an annual business meeting, and each school committee across the state gets one vote on the issues that they are presenting. So only a school committee that actually appoints a delegate, excuse me, is able to vote at the annual meeting. So I believe Nick was your delegate last year. You can send someone, you can appoint someone, or you can choose not to go and participate.
Well, we have some committee meeting on it.
The meeting, I believe, is on the Friday, the 14th at 3:15 p.m. Sorry.
That's right.
That was good enough.
So we're only, so let me just understand. So we're only essentially voting to have somebody join just for the delegate meeting on Friday, not necessarily to attend the conference. That's okay.
Yeah. However, you are all able to attend the conference if you'd like.
Yeah.
I went last year.
Did I tell you to say that?
Actually, not the delegate.
Is there anyone that would like to be the delegate?
I mean, don't like to do it, no, but if, I think we should put someone in the event that something comes up and we need to vote. We should have someone from both there. I
So-
will do it, if no one else will do it.
Is this the scenario where they send out all the resolutions?
And you did this. Which I think, didn't it come in the end?
I don't know. Never read them because they never action them, quite frankly. They always have good ideas, but just no action goes along. Which is standard for.
The meetings are the most disorganized thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
So Nick, you would be reluctantly interested to be the delegate. All right, so entertain a motion to appoint Nick Schleicher as a delegate for the MASC annual business meeting.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Something is.
Was there anybody interested in being an alternate?
Thursday.
You could go to the conference.
I mean, do we need an alternate?
There are some school committees that fight over this, that they want to go back. Outrageous. Put it out there.
Very excited, but no, I didn't know if we needed one. If we needed one, I would do it, but we don't need one.
We don't need one. Okay.
All right, then we will not have a alternate delegate, so we move on to the next item is building project update for our lovely middle school roof.
So earlier this week, we had some conversations with the MSBA and with our OPM and the designer, architect for the schematic design, and we have decided to pull the roof off, repair off the warrant for this fall town meeting, which is taking place in just a few days. The reason for that is that we need a little bit more information and a little bit more time to really look at the differences between restoration of the Norton Middle School roof or full replacement. There is not a significant difference. I mean, when you're talking about 10 million, 12 million, I mean, at that point, we want to make sure that whatever we're doing it right. Norton Middle School has had significant issues with the roof since the day it opened in 1998. And I know we have a lot of staff members here tonight from the Norton Middle School that can attest to how nice and soggy it can be from time to time. I don't think anyone is debating on the fact that it needs to be done. whether you look at school committee, you look at the select board, you look at finance committee, this is a project that has to. Unfortunately, I don't believe we have the positive votes for us to get it passed at town meeting due to a couple different issues, mainly cost and the aspect of restoration. So what we're doing is we are filing an extension with the MSBA to, instead of having it go to the October, instead of our documents being due at the end of this month, they will now be due at the end of December for approval at the board meeting on February 25th. Once it's approved on February 25th, we have 90 days to get it approved at town meeting. So it's tight because typically spring town meeting is at the end of or middle of May. They are willing to work with us if it's like 92 days, 95 days, something like that. So I just wanted to give you all an update. Christine and Wade and I met with our OPM and architect yesterday. So we're continuing to work really closely with them, spending a lot of time talking about exactly what this is going to look like. I just want to give you all that update.
Am I correct that for an article to be pulled, that has to be voted on?
Oh,
I think it has. I believe it needs to be voted on. Okay.
Except we can't vote on
we
it.
can't vote on it because it's not on the agenda.
Yeah,
We can do it before town meeting on the 20th.
yeah.
Right,
I believe it needs to be.
All right, thank you, Laura. I
Yep.
apologize.
No?
While we're all here and talking about this, can we? So filing the extension by the end of by the end of December? Is that-
So we have to file for the extension this week.
Okay,
And which would mean the documents would be due by December 18th. So we would need to continue to have conversations and meet. We would need to have them come back out to us, present what a full replacement would look like, just like they came and presented the restoration. And we would need to say, like, we're gonna go in this direction, or we're going to go in this direction. Because you can't submit both the restoration and replacement to the MSBA. We need to make a decision. So we've got roughly 2.5 months, 2 months to do that.
Meeting be a joint meeting?
No, so it would be for you as a committee to decide which direction you want to go in. What we'll do is we'll ask to be put on a finance committee agenda. Once we have more information on what this is going to look like, we're going to be reaching out to the permanent building committee and getting in front of them once we have a little bit more information as well. And if the select board, it's always good to have them, behind something. So we'll ask to be placed on that agenda as well. So I would say it probably wouldn't happen until mid-November for us to go in front of the select board and the finance committee. We need to get in front of the permanent building committee earlier than that.
so when we file the extension by 12/18, it will be decided on by MSBA on 2/25.
Correct.
And
So we
then
need to
we
get-
have to in 90 days.
Yes.
25,
Yes.
within 90 days, prove that we have funding.
Correct. So you need to have an affirmative vote at town meeting within 90 days.
Okay, so here's my thing.
Mhm.
Because I think we're going to go right down, this is my personal opinion, we're going to go right down the same path we just went down if we don't come up with a better plan.
Mhm.
What I mean by that is what we just did, we just voted as a school committee, to put this forward. FinCom and select board basically crushed it and said they're not going to support it and not probably those words, but basically in this current state saying they're not going to support this, which would have meant we would have had to go in fall town meeting and try to convince the voters that this is what we need to do and this is the best plan going forward on our own little island with no FinCom and no select board support. That's what we call dead on arrival. That's not going to make it through the voters. So if we all, to me, what we're doing right now is we're going to file extension, get a little bit more information, sure, blah, 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 and then we're going to do the exact same thing come April. We're going to go to town meeting. Granted, maybe we'll bring in select board and FinCom and.
I think you have
permanent
to.
building.
I also think you need to present a little bit more publicly in terms of, this is what's going on with the middle school group. This is why
But-
these things need to happen.
But my concern, this is my concern and why I voted no a few weeks ago. This is not going to pass at town meeting. And this is why I think it's not going to pass at town meeting. Where is the money coming from? So I see a lot of teachers out here right now.
Mhm.
If you told me I'm a teacher and I gotta sit in the town meeting and vote on a roof, but it could cost me 20, 30, 40 members, again. Because the town doesn't have the money. They don't have $4 million sitting around to try to go ahead and do this roof. To me, by doing it at a town meeting means you have to borrow the money. You're borrowing the money from your own selves. So we're either gonna cut other departments or we're gonna cut our own operating budget. That is a bad, bad thing to do. We've just done that a few times with other projects that we've done. So my suggestion here would be to, yes, get the extension. We need more time. We need to bring in permanent building committee, FinCom, select board sooner than later. Get everybody on the same page is the right thing to do for this board as a debt exclusion. Then you're not pulling from the operating budget. You're pulling from the tax base. It might be a hard sell. However, most people, I've not heard one person disagree that we need a roof over here. So I think if you put this vote towards the taxpayers, they're going to sit there and say, Jesus, middle school, roof's leaking. This isn't something that it's, we want to add 25 computers and do this, that, and the other thing. It's, well, the roof.
Keep the building.
We need to have this to keep the building open, to keep our teachers and our kids safe.
I mean, am I
So-
wrong? I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, no, no,
I just, I feel like that was kind of what was advised by finance committee when we went to that meeting last week, and I was under the impression or felt as if that was kind of the idea or the direction that we were going to be investigating and looking into as part of the reason why we weren't extending. So not just the difference of restoration versus replacement, but also discussing more of that pathway. And I think that's part of the bigger picture of what we were going to be looking at over the next couple of months.
So-
I could be wrong
I
on that,
think
but.
by doing it in its current state, I think we kind of reversed order.
Yes.
You know, like we talked about this project and, we didn't have, the necessary information on where the payment was coming from, which is now, again, file an extension, talk to the finance committee and select board who control the budget and then control the debt exclusion and all those terms. And we don't control any of that. We just, essentially, we're saying we need a new roof, but
And we need a better idea of what those numbers look like before we go and we say, hey, it's going to be X amount of dollars. But ultimately, it's the school, as the school committee and the administrative team, it's not our decision where that money is going to come from. So we do need to spend
I wanna
time
make
to
sure
meet
the
with
money-
them and to say like, hey, what is going to happen here? Because we also need the vote. You need a vote at town meeting and you need a ballot. We need both.
Well, then why do you bring up?
You need voting at town meeting. You don't need the ballot for the debt exclusion.
For debt exclusion, yeah.
Right, that's my problem.
That's what,
Right, that's what I'm saying. So for a debt exclusion, we need the vote. Yeah, we need both.
The other thing is too, is we can also do is, like, obviously by pushing this back now, we're not looking for a roof until September, summer of 27. So that's another concern naturally, because now we're gonna have to dump in more money to
Correct.
get whatever we have right now leaking somewhat under control for a Band-Aid on a bullet hole, like you keep saying,
Yeah.
which is completely true. How much is that gonna cost us? So I don't know if pushing it back to town meeting in April is really the solution. I think we really need to get our hands around this and get a meeting sooner than later. Get the town manager involved, the permanent building committee involved, and really look at what is our next step, because we could always call a special town meeting in January as well.
Correct.
And then you could get a vote right there, boom, get it on the ballot for April if you wanted to, you could push it back, there's a lot of options there that you could actually might be able to not wait till April to get a vote. You might be able to do it in January, and then you never know. You might get a contractor who's like, hey, I can do this over the summer for the 3 months or 2
And
months.
all of those options are open to us. We just need to have the money allocated within those 90 days. So however we want to do this as a town, all of those are on the table. We just need,
But
do you know what,
totally
Yeah.
understand, but I think,
we're saying the same.
yes, correct.
Okay.
totally
We need buy-in.
But we need, correct, we need the buy-in.
Even though we need to approve, we all need to be on the same page.
And we need a direct message that's going to the taxpayers that has support from FinCom, Select Board, School Committee. This is the way to do it. This is what we think is the best option. And I can almost guarantee you that will probably be approved. If we do it in pieces and parts, School Committee's here, FinCom's here, Permanent Building Committee's not involved, Select Board is not supporting, it's going to be a very hard sell for us and Jen sitting on town meeting floor. So I just feel like if we can do this sooner than later, get a meeting, might still have a shot to get this done, summer of 26. Is it a long stretch? Sure, but I do think it would be somewhat possible if we get moving. If we wait and we're just gonna wait on the deadlines and get it in by February and blah, 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 who knows?
Well, I think February is the
I think it's
MSBA
balanced. I don't
timeline.
think we have a
February
choice.
February isn't March.
I understand.
Yeah, so
By 12/18.
So we have to submit all of our documentation to them by 12/18, and then they have 2 months to review everything, and then their actual meeting would be February 25th.
And essentially, we would still have time after their meeting. With your option, if we have to, put it on the April ballot or something like that. So the timelines we're talking about for December and February are not ours. That's just to get everything for them. So we would still essentially have 6 months to get everything squared away.
Have you talked to permanent building committee yet? When's their meeting?
I emailed the chair and let him know what the plan was.
So it's, the next permanent building meeting is October 29th, which is actually also submitted as.
Mhm.
So. Same time.
You're excused.
Great.
Hard for any places that wants to do this.
It's very difficult, but I guess.
What time is that meeting?
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, yep.
Well, we can look at the agenda and see what's on it for that meeting, and perhaps we divide and conquer. Or we
Or we can add,
push.
try to bump to the town meeting one and bump to the next one too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, this, to me,
We meet
this
at 7 that night instead of 6.
this is a top priority at this point.
Beg to be at the town.
Yeah.
You just have a meeting.
Sure.
Yeah. You don't have to direct them. Right.
All right, let me look at the agenda. We'll go for it.
Because where's the 29th? It's supposed to be.
I think we are supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'll check.
LJ.
No, that's not, just yes.
Or not just yet. Yeah.
Anything else on the roof?
Yeah,
And then JCS,
Yep.
and then the December one is actually back here.
Back here.
Because, you switched the dates around and.
They're not available.
Meeting room is not available.
So could we bump
Yeah.
and then do like, so the December 10th would be JCS? That
Yeah.
way, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so instead of coming back to the middle school, yes, we'll see if the room is available, on the 29th. Yeah. Because I don't know where permanent building committee meets.
I have to go back. Yeah, I might be here. I have to go back and look at.
All right, we'll connect and figure that out.
I just knew the date and the time because I was like, oh,
That's more, all right.
Anything else on the rooftop? Any other business not anticipated? And a motion to adjourn at 7:22.
Second. Got one.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Yeah.